November 24, 1863, Summit Breakthrough. Union forces under Major General Joseph Hooker attacked Confederate positions on Lookout Mountain, overlooking Chattanooga, Tennessee. The terrain was steep, rocky, and covered in fog, which led observers to call the fight the Battle Above the Clouds. Confederate troops commanded by Major General Carter L. Stevenson had occupied the mountain as part of a wider effort to maintain the siege of Union forces in Chattanooga. The height of Lookout Mountain allowed Confederate forces to observe and threaten Union supply routes along the Tennessee River, giving the position clear strategic value during the Chattanooga campaign. The attack on Lookout Mountain was part of the larger Battle of Chattanooga, fought from November 23 to November 25, 1863. The Union goal was to break the Confederate siege and regain full access to Chattanooga, an important rail and river hub in the Western theater of the Civil War. Hooker's forces advanced up the western slopes and benches of the mountain. Fighting centered around defensive positions near Craven's House, where Confederate troops attempted to hold their ground. As Union units pushed steadily upward, the fog made visibility poor, but the advance continued through the afternoon. By evening on November 24, the Confederates withdrew from the mountain and moved to new defensive positions along Missionary Ridge east of Chattanooga. The Union capture of Lookout Mountain weakened the Confederate defensive line around the city. The withdrawal exposed the Confederate left flank and played a direct role in setting up the Union assault on Missionary Ridge on November 25. That attack succeeded and forced General Braxton Bragg's army to retreat into Georgia. The loss of Lookout Mountain therefore formed a key link in a sequence of events that lifted the Confederate siege and opened Chattanooga to Union control. The strategic significance of the battle was closely tied to Chattanooga's transportation network. Railroads and river routes in the city enabled rapid movement of troops and supplies. Once the Confederates lost Lookout Mountain, Union forces gained secure access to these routes. The Union Army had already begun restoring supply access through what became known as the Cracker Line in late October. The removal of Confederate artillery and observation positions from Lookout Mountain made that supply line far safer. As a result, Union forces stationed in Chattanooga had stronger logistical support and improved coordination among different army groups. The fall of Lookout Mountain also shaped the direction of Union operations in the Western Theater. With Chattanooga secure, Union commanders used the city as a base for future offensives deeper into Confederate territory. The victory positioned Union General Ulysses S. Grant to direct broader campaigns in the region, including future operations involving General William T. Sherman. The loss of Tennessee, beginning with key defeats like this one, reduced Confederate access to important resources and territory and eroded their ability to mount major counteroffensives in the West. The terrain played an important role in the battle's outcome. Confederate commanders believed that the steep slopes and narrow ledges of the mountain would make a direct attack difficult. Union forces advanced in multiple coordinated columns, scaling the mountain's western face and pressing Confederate defenders from several directions. The fog concealed parts of the movement and limited the Confederates' ability to judge the size and position of Union forces. When Union troops pushed past the main defensive line near Craven's House, Confederate leadership determined that holding the mountain was no longer feasible and ordered a withdrawal. The battle also carried psychological weight. Reports and illustrations of Union soldiers climbing a fog-covered mountain produced a striking image that captured public attention in the North. The successful assault helped lift morale and demonstrated that Confederate positions, even those considered naturally strong, could be overcome by coordinated Union action. For the Confederacy, the loss undermined confidence in the strength of their Western defenses and signaled growing pressure from advancing Union forces. In the aftermath, Chattanooga became a stable Union stronghold. Control of the city's transportation routes allowed continued troop movements and supply distribution. The Union's strengthened position in the West contributed to broader strategic momentum that would, over time, weaken the Confederacy's ability to sustain the war. The Battle of Lookout Mountain stands as a significant moment in the Civil War because it helped break the Confederate grip on Chattanooga, opened the way for future Union offensives, and demonstrated the importance of terrain, logistics, and coordinated assaults in determining battlefield outcomes. For enthusiasts of historical ephemera, visit history-collectors.com to find collectibles that might complement your collection. You can own a piece of history.